Easter. It's more than a Sunday. It's more than a season. It is the proclamation of new life. As we see the flowers and the shoots breaking forth from the ground, there's great excitement in that. As we feel the warmth of the sun today, after long days and months of winter, there is perhaps a little bit of jubilation in our hearts and in our souls as we welcome new life being made known, welcoming it into our midst. Yet we also know that this new life and this excitement does not just happen. That sometimes there is a road to getting there. And oftentimes in the midst of the Easter season, we are good at jumping to the hallelujahs and the excitement and the wonder, bypassing the road that gets us there. So today, as we come into this space, I want to talk a little bit about grief, about the sadness that we experience. For you see, as we come on this road with the two disciples on their road to Emmaus, they are walking along talking, sharing in stories. Now, wouldn't you love to just be a bird listening to these stories as they're telling them? As they talk about these amazing, incredible, and hard events in Jerusalem over the last week. The ways that they had gathered as a community and had held the palm branches high and spread cloaks on the road. How they had gathered with companions, with friends, and they had listened to this one, Jesus of Nazareth, as he preached and taught, as he shared his stories, as he got down and washed their feet, as he broke bread with them, how he was captured by the soldiers of the Roman Empire and taken in to be crucified, and then waiting, hoping that something good might come out of this moment. Yet just having that sinking sense that as the days and moments pass, that their lives are filled with a little more sorrow, a little more wounded, a little hope gone or vanished. And so they walk the road to keep one another company, to remember. I think of how often we walk that same road. The journey that we have been on, with its highs and its lows, with the excitements and the wonders, we come into this place with the two disciples telling the stories about those we have lost, about how hard it is. With all that we experienced and the wonder of life, the power around us, now here we are, walking on. Or perhaps, as people where a relationship has folded or changed and hurt, walking on, again, struggling, trying to make sense out of it, to tell the stories with the hope that something good might come out of it. Perhaps we walk the road through depression or anxiety. Perhaps we walk this road wondering about what's next with our health or the health of one we love. We walk along. We shed a few tears, perhaps sob. We touch that place that is so hurting. And it's precisely there. It's precisely there that Jesus shows up. You see, that is one thing that is so powerful for me about this text. Is that two disciples are walking along, sharing the story, sharing the events, wanting perhaps to relive, wanting to remember. And someone comes along and says, tell me what's happening. Now, of course, in their circumstance, it's kind of one of those, I could have had a V8 sort of moments where it's like, are you the only one in Jerusalem who doesn't know? Are you the only one who's missed out on everything going on? But before that are those words, they stood still, looking sad. They paused in the midst of their story, in the midst of their hurt, for that moment of stillness, of silence, allowing what was inside their hearts to be revealed on their faces. What happens when we stand in that place? When someone says, with an interest and deep listening, tell me what's happening. What's happening for you? And we pause in that moment of stillness and really let what's happening inside show forth on our faces. Where all of a sudden the tears begin to come. Where all of a sudden the hurt bubbles up. Where the loss is revealed. And we stand there in our most vulnerable place and start again. And begin telling the stories of what has led us to this day. These disciples on the road to Emmaus allow themselves to go to that vulnerable place and then begin sharing their experiences. But this one who comes alongside them doesn't allow them to just stay there. He begins probing and questioning and prodding, and all of a sudden gets them to see things even in a new way. In the midst of all that they are experiencing, he invites them deeper into the journey as they travel farther along on this road to Emmaus. He invites them to see how all that has taken place, including those great hurts and places of woundedness, those loss of a deep and dear friend and teacher, now transform them in a way that is still being revealed. He walks with them. And I imagine that as they get to that place where they are going to stop, and he starts going along, they want him to come back not just for his sake, protection from the dangers of the night, but also because they want to keep experiencing the story, this remembering, living in that moment. They want to continue this journey, to share this story. And it is there that they go into the place where they will lodge, where they will dwell. And this one sits down with them and does something wonderful, something common, and yet something deeply profound. Becoming the companion for the road, revealing himself as the companion who will continue with them. Taking bread, blessing it, breaking it, and giving it to them. And in that moment, their eyes are opened. These disciples who have followed the teacher now all of a sudden see Jesus revealed in that time and space. This one who has walked with them over the road into Emmaus is now the one that they view as the living Christ. The story continues.